What does Jeanette herself feel about skiing?
Oh, it feels like you're flying. I mean, you know, you can feel you're going at your own pace. You can go fast or slow. You know, you're in control of what you're doing yourself. So it just feels like you're flying to me. Well, really, at the beginning, I really was kind of frightened, like anybody. At the beginning, you know, I wasn't quite sure about it. But I figured, you know, we'd give it a try. Everybody, you know, said we could do it. So after we started, I knew we could do it, and just keep trying. I get along good with Dad, my father, and we're getting off pretty good. And then I went with my girlfriend, Mary, and she took me down a few times, and Laura took me down. My sister took me down a few times. So we get along. Anybody can take me down, if, you know. And my girlfriend next door, Susan, took me down. So if they just, you know, tell me where to turn and everything, just about anybody can.
Just how does Harry Baxter feel about teaching skiing by sound?
But several years ago, when I was skiing one day at Cannon Mountain, I did see a skier coming down the hill with a girl in front of him with a little bell on a ski pole. And at the time, I discovered that this person was a blind person and was skiing quite well. I did find out later that this person was not blind all his life. He became blind after he had learned how to ski. But this gave me the idea to possibly use a bell or something to lead Jeanette while she was skiing. We went up on the number 2 T-bar. Those of you that are familiar with a number 2 T-bar, we went up as far as Peavy being about halfway, and we went over onto Lower Winner's Way. We made a couple of runs on Lower Winner's Way, but that particular day the conditions were not ideal. It was a little bit icy, and we had a new pair of skis on this time. This time it was a pair of metal skis, and we did discover the noise of the skis deflected the sound of or drowned out the sound of the bell. And we found that we had to ski quite a bit slower on conditions like this. Another thing that we did discover that presented a small problem is on windy days, if we had a lot of wind, it would deflect the sound from one side to the other, and I'd look back and I'd notice Jeanette skiing off to one side, and this would be caused by the wind blowing the sound from one side of the slope to the other. So this presented a little bit of a problem, but on ideal conditions, she can ski almost as well as anyone else. We did dream of the day when we could go up on the top of number 2 and cut over on Tote Road and possibly the lower narrow gauge in places like this. And it wasn't too long before we were able to do this.